Hi guys and welcome to my channel. Today I'm here with an exciting video where I'll be drawing 5 iconic scenes from the record-breaking Netflix show Squid Game. I'm sure you've all heard the buzz around this series because it's been taking the world by storm, and for a good reason too. Squid Game is a battle royale style Korean drama where the financially struggling contestants get a chance to win a huge cash prize if they can survive 6 games. Little did they know that if they get eliminated, they also die. It's a really gripping and interesting show about humanity, desperation, and the inequality between the rich and poor. I highly recommend everyone that can handle a bit of gore to watch the series because I for one thoroughly enjoyed it. I've been a long-time viewer of Korean dramas, and to see this one get so much recognition and love makes me happy. This is also why I want to be a part of all this by drawing Squid Game scenes in my anime-inspired style just to see how it would look like. I'll also be discussing the scenes and analyzing the show in general while I'm at it, so this is an all-encompassing spoiler warning in case you haven't watched it yet. Before we start though, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. I'm so honored to be working with Skillshare again, as they are genuinely a great platform for anyone looking to improve on their skills or simply learn new ones. Skillshare is an online learning platform with thousands of inspiring classes to help you evolve to the next level. Do you want to learn how to animate or draw? Skillshare offers classes for that. Do you want to learn how to edit videos or take Instagram-worthy photos? Skillshare covers that too. Is your cooking unseasoned? Well, fret no more. Skillshare has classes that will teach you how to make your food tasty. Literally anything that is useful you can find from their large catalog of classes, and the best part is that there are plenty of teachers to choose from, in case you have a particular style of learning. Skillshare offers workshops that allow you to learn in real time with the support of your teacher and other community members. I highly recommend taking Marquise Brownlee's class called YouTube Success, Script, Shoot, and Edit with MKBHD, because I know many of you have been procrastinating on starting up a channel of your own. Take this as a sign to actually go ahead with that idea by checking out Marquise Brownlee's class for actual tips that will help you on your process. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get 1 month free trial of Skillshare, so you literally have nothing to lose. I know your cooking skills need that extra help, so click that link in my description to use this great deal. Be quick too, because only the first 1,000 will be able to utilize that free trial. Thank you again Skillshare for sponsoring this video. I've sectioned this video off into 2 parts. The first part is me choosing which parts to draw and showing you the drawing process, and the second part is me showing you the final pieces, so please make sure to watch the video through the end. I put a lot of effort into this video because I had to draw so much and it took me hours to do that, so I would appreciate it if you liked the video. So let's just get into it. But one more thing. I'll give out a general trigger warning for sensitive content, so please proceed with caution. Viewer discretion is advised. So the first scene I decided to draw was the infamous Morpheus scene that ended up introducing Squid Game to our main protagonist Gi-hoon. Basically, a very handsome but strange man came up to Gi-hoon after a long, exhausting day to offer him a game of takji for a cash prize. Takji is a traditional Korean game where the opponent is supposed to turn over a piece of folded paper on the ground by hitting it with another piece of folded paper. I was personally familiar with this game due to watching a lot of Korean variety shows like Running Man and Infinity Challenge, where they would play it very often. Our mystery man presented Gi-hoon with 2 choices, the red paper or the blue paper, and Gi-hoon ultimately chose the blue paper. Well, the show obviously took inspiration from the Matrix movies, as well as various other battle royale styled mangas like Liar Game and Kaiji. It also reminds me of movies like Hunger Games and Alice in Borderland. While drawing these folded papers, I remembered reading a theory that the color of the paper would decide which role the chooser would be in. For example, if you chose the red one, you would be a guard tasked with killing the eliminated contestants, getting rid of their bodies, and guarding the players while providing them food. On the contrary, if you choose the blue one, you would end up being a player in the games. Of course, this isn't confirmed yet, but it does seem possible because the guards in Squid Game were highly monitored and barely had any freedom. They were also being killed with little regard to their life, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was the case. My only hiccup with this theory is what's in it for the guards. Being a player in the games gives you a slim chance of winning a huge cash prize, but what do you get as a guard? Do they get a salary for all their dirty work, or do they get their debts paid off? I would really like to know more, and I hope they explore this in potential future seasons. Going back to the scene of this drawing though, Gi-hun took the mystery man's offer and played a few rounds with him. Every time he lost, he would pay for the loss with his body by being slapped in the face instead of paying money. I feel like this was intentional and foreshadowing for what's to come in the actual games, where if you lose, it would actually cost you your life. I find this scene not only entertaining, but also very mysterious, as we only saw this mystery man in the first and last episode of the show. I wanted to portray this mystery man's all-knowing smirk in the drawing too, but I'm not so sure if I did him justice. I also added a squid in the wall behind him as a homage to the name of the show. I had trouble drawing his hand, but I did my best using the reference I had, and in post-editing, I tweaked it a bit more to make it look bigger than it is now. I then added a grainy texture to the whole drawing for that retro feel. I end up doing this grainy texture for all of the drawings actually, but yeah, I'm just mentioning it here so you're not surprised with the end result. Moving on to the second scene. I decided to draw the iconic profile picture of the main protagonist Gi-hun, aka player 456, because this scene cracked me up and also highlighted perfectly how clueless and trusting Gi-hun was when he was entering the games. His innocent smile would fade as the games went on, but this picture would stay as his profile picture for the rest of the games, making it more eerie. Gi-hun as a character was in my opinion the perfect protagonist to go with, because while he has his flaws like being a deadbeat dad or a disobeying son to his mother, when he finally did make money, he would splurge it on others, sharing his successes with clerks, cats on the street, and most importantly, his family. He isn't a selfish man, despite it first looking like that, and it really does seem like he was just given bad cards in his life, leading him to overwhelming debt and a failed marriage. This all seems to stem from Gi-hun's trauma that started due to his co-worker being killed in front of him on the same day his daughter was being born. Gi-hun used to work for a car company that took advantage of their workers, and when they protested against the exploitation, they ended up being swarmed by the police, which resulted in the death of one of the workers. The fact that Gi-hun lost his friend, his job, and missed the birth of his daughter all at the same time resulted in Gi-hun getting addicted to gambling and ultimately losing his marriage. Though these things made Gi-hun's life a bit more difficult, he would still have compassion for those around him, and I'm sure those traits are the same reason he got as far as he did in the games. I had difficulty getting his expression right, especially with his mouth and eyes, but after adding the dimples and accentuating his smile, I think I got the result I was happy with. I also blurred the background and overlaid some blue on everything to get that vibrant cartoonish color scheme that some animes are known for. Moving on to the third scene. I decided to go with the honeycomb game of the third episode because it was so nerve-wracking to watch despite the game itself being pretty simple. If you guys aren't familiar with the honeycomb game, basically the players have to carve out a specific shape from a sugar cookie without breaking the original shape. The shapes in Squid Game were triangle, circle, star, and umbrella. You can then imagine how shook Gi-hun was when he realized that he had chosen the umbrella shape, which is the hardest of them all. On top of all that, there was a very strict time limit to complete the task. Despite all odds, Gi-hun succeeded the challenge by being creative and licking the cookie in order to melt it, making it easier for him to carve the shape out. I find this game very entertaining, as it seems so simple, yet if I was in Gi-hun's shoes, I'm not so sure if I would have made it. I wanted to really capture the look of disbelief in Gi-hun's face by focusing on his expression. I put emphasis on the wide eyes by adding details of distress under his eye bags, while making his mouth look erratic. I also added sweat and tears all around his face to really emphasize his desperation and relief. Another side note is that I've been enjoying drawing Gi-hun's haircut. I really like that mullet that he has, and also his fluffy upper hair, if that's what you call it. What's the hair on top of a mullet? Is it called the upper hair, or is it just hair? Anyway, if you like this drawing so far, leave a like and a comment on the video, letting me know which one you like the best. I still have 2 more to go, but before we get there, press the like button for all my efforts so far. Now, moving on, I chose to draw 2 scenes from the dreaded episode 6 where all hell broke loose, because it literally disturbed me and upset me to the core. The first scene I decided to draw was this scene of player 1, better known as Ilnam, sitting alone waiting for the game to start. I really wanted to portray that empty and vulnerable feeling this scene seemed to have, due to Ilnam accepting the fact that nobody would probably pair up with him for the next game. Now with the added context and hindsight of the whole show, this all seems like a huge act. However, it fooled me and had me on the edge of my seat, wishing that somebody would end up pairing up with Ilnam. Thankfully, Gi-hoon would step up by choosing to play with him, despite knowing that it would make his game harder. That all being said, I actually had the hardest time drawing this scene in particular, because I hardly ever draw old individuals, so adding those creases and wrinkles took me out of my comfort zone. As you saw from my first sketch of this drawing, I almost drew Ilnam as a youngster, but after trying a different approach, I think it looks better now than before. I tried focusing on the gaunt look on Ilnam's face and pose to make him look as frail as possible, but something about this drawing still bothers me. I had difficulty also drawing his hair, because at first I was like, how do I draw thin hair? But then I was like, at the end of the day it's an anime, so even if I give him that nice perm, it's fine. I just went with the flow with this one. But let me know in the comments what y'all think. I blame Ilnam for the failure of this drawing, because while I was rooting for him in this scene in particular, I can't say I had those same feelings by the end of the show. I won't delve deeper into that since I don't want to spoil the entire show in case there are some stragglers here that haven't watched it. If you haven't and you're this far in the video, this is your sign to go watch Squid Game, because I will spoil the most painful scene on the show next. The last drawing I embarked on was this infamous scene from player 67, better known as Sebyok, leaving behind player 240, aka Jeong. In this specific game, the players had to choose a partner and enter a game of marbles with them, only to find out that they had to play against each other and the loser would, in Squid Game fashion, be killed on the spot. This game was such a huge gut punch for me, because all of my favorite characters paired up, and only one in each pairing would be able to survive. The joy I had when Gi-hoon picked Ilnam despite his old age quickly disappeared, and finding out Ali went with Sang-woo also worried me. What really drove me to tears though was this scene where Jeong, better known as player 240, purposefully lost to Sebyok because she deducted that Sebyok had a better reason to keep on living. She sacrificed herself for Sebyok, and this really broke me. I got emotional even drawing this scene, because it really brings back so many horrible memories from this show. Squid Game really tried me with this episode. I attempted to really focus on Sebyok's expression and bring out those emotions of grief and loss. The way I did this was to really emphasize on the fact that she's holding back tears. However, I feel like I overdid it a bit, because she ended up looking like she's holding up snot or sniffing more than she's holding up tears. But you know, I did the damn thing and I tried, okay? I did. Player 67 was consistently one of my favorite characters on the series, and to see her suffer was so hard for me to watch. I added a glow effect on her highlights to set a more somber scene. I also blurred the background like in the screenshot to bring more focus on Sebyok's face. Let's move on to the last part of this video, where I'll show you the final works in all their glory. That was a lot of drawing, and it took me a couple of days and countless hours to finish all of them. I had a blast recreating these scenes that stood out to me in my anime-inspired art style, and I hope you guys like how the final works ended up looking. Here are the finished artworks. The first work was this Dakji scene with our mystery man. As you can see, I did some additional editing and tweaking here and there to get some of the proportions right, especially in his chin area and his shoulders. The second artwork was this photo scene in episode 1. I really like how this ended up looking. I had some issues getting Gi-hoon's expression right, but I think we got there in the end. The third artwork was the honeycomb challenge, where Gi-hoon barely passed the game. I think this is my personal favorite drawing of the bunch, because I feel like I really captured that shocked look in Gi-hoon's face. The first drawing was this scene of Il-nam sulking in the corner. This drawing took me out of my comfort zone and got me trying something new, as I'm not accustomed to drawing old people, which is also the reason why it's my least favorite. Because I haven't practiced it, I feel self-conscious about it, so this only tells me that I need to practice some more. Last but not least, I drew this heartbreaking scene of Sebyok leaving Jiyeon behind after winning the marble game in the most tragic way possible. I was okay with how this ended up looking at first. The more I look at it now, the more I would like to change around the mouth and face area. I'd like it to look like she's holding in tears more than she's holding in snot. But you know, we can't have it all, can we? So that is all for today. I would love to know which one of these was your favorite and why. As you can see, I didn't get to draw any of the other beloved characters like Ali, Sangwoo, the gangster dude, or even the red light green light doll, because it would have taken me too long to do all of them for one video. So if you guys like this video and you want to see a part 2 where I do draw those characters that I missed out on this time, get this video to 5,000 likes and you know, I'll make it happen. So I want to thank my amazing patrons and channel members for their continuous support. Thank you to Darcy Rawlings, Nat, Dayanara Serkis, Jamisa Walker, Celine Bede, Seiji Hito, Hat, Salem Smith, Inola, Neptune, Adrian Charles Code, Sammy Specials, Nico D'Angelo, Chainsaw 134, Jillian, JJ, Adam Quentin Kali, Ghoul Ranger, Isabella, Vic Abrantes, Ashley V, Lady Kimono, Jiraiya Sin, The Opinion Queen, Be Spooked, Lil Artsy Savage, Ash Wetzel, Min McLawn, Bunny Boy, Kitty Dog Diamond, The Black Sheep 1 Dross, Garrett, Black Wolf 275, Split into 2, Harriet Rose, Lady Kimono, and Queen Peters Creates. It's because of your support that I can continue to create content. If the rest of you want to support me further as well, consider becoming a patron or a channel member. The link to my Patreon is in my description. For channel membership, press the join button next to my username and that should do it. Thank you for watching.